All right, Jason Rona back here in the JConcepts garage. We got another vlog episode for you. We're talking dirt oval racing today with AJ Marasco. He seems to be the jack of all trades here. He's getting it done in a lot of different classes. We talked to him last about doing some drag racing. Now we're doing some dirt oval. We had a local event at Ron Jon Raceway in Brooksville. And AJ, you went out there when they kind of got this track going. And, you told us, hey, this place is great. He's got a nice little thing going here. Talk to us about Ron Jon's and kind of how you met the crew out there.
It was probably 2-3 months ago. I was talking with Brad, and he's like, hey, some oval track opening up. And then Kevin Abbott said the same thing, and kind of went out there, checked it out a little bit, and happened to be about 25 minutes from my house in a guy's backyard in the middle of the woods. You're like, man, what's back here? It's kind of away from society a little bit, and happens to be one of the nicest facilities I've ever seen. Nicest guy you'll ever meet. He puts in the hard work, and he's definitely made it happen within the 3 weeks I've been there since the first time, and he's done a lot of work, and he's very committed, I noticed.
Yeah, I went out there. This was my first trip out there. Kind of got that atmosphere, like a campground almost. Mm-hmm. And especially in RC, and you see all the trailers rolling in and everybody setting up the pits. But we had a lot of weather to deal with at this race. This is their inaugural, the Wild West Shootout, and but they put in, like you said, a ton of work to keep this track up in shape. And sitting there, we were watching them work on the track. You talked about the dedication, but unreal, huh? Oh,
it was unreal. I at one point I thought we were never going to get the race in, but he was out there when it was even raining, just putting in the hard work and showing dedication. Even a couple guys, like his buddies, Blake Riles and stuff like that, they were showing that they wanted to get this race in, and that's the dedication I think it takes in order to put a great facility together and have a good race going.
Yeah, one of the other things that was a little different about this format is, and you had told me before when you're like, look, they're going to run this at night. The idea was we're going to practice towards nighttime on Friday, and then the race was going to start about 5 p.m. or so on Saturday. And we're like, yeah, no big deal. We'll make this work. And we got out there, and we realized real quick that this was going to be a late night.
Oh, it's always a late night. Every time I've been there, normally I get home at 2, and this was time I got home. This time I got home at 4.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of a little bit used to it.
And the idea here is to stay away from some of the heat. You race at night, the track is cooler, the conditions are more stable at night, and the tire wear is usually better at night as well. When you race during the day and it's hot and that temperature goes up, the track gets really grooved, it's really warm, abrasive, and you go through more tires. And then you obviously have to deal with the peaks and valleys of the heat and the clouds. But at night, things stabilize a little bit more, and I think that's kind of generally the idea. It was a little more difficult for us that aren't really used to staying up that late and running a long race like that. But still, you look around the pits, and it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and people weren't phased. They were into their race. They were happy to be up and racing, and I didn't see anybody really tap out there. They were just full commitment straight ahead, and they couldn't wait for the race.
Oh yeah, that at one point I think during the night I looked at the clock, it was 10 o'clock, and then I swear it had to be 10 minutes. We're all having a blast, talking, racing, just having a good old time, and I swear it's not even 30 minutes, and I looked at the time, it was midnight.
Yeah.
I was like, man, but we're all having fun.
So a couple, we got a lot of fast drivers out there. This was their first trophy level race, but had about 100 entries, which I thought was good. It was kind of a manageable turnout, and we had Max Fleur come down from North Carolina representing Custom Works. And then we had some guys that race, you mentioned it earlier, Grant and Blake, that are so quick down there. Tell us about, you've raced these guys before, and they're one of the favorites there, right?
Oh, for sure, they're one of the favorites. I've raced them actually once before and kind of showed up, and those guys definitely have the speed. They put in the dedication. They show up with a trailer. They're full committed. They have all their tires ready to go, and they definitely know what it takes to definitely be really fast in oval. And it's not just going in a circle. It's a lot of setup that those guys do.
Yeah. And okay, so just a little bit of a flashback. You did Motorama earlier in the year with Fred. You ran our rental ride, the orange and gray or orange and silver, whatever we had that thing painted. It was that's been a great car for us. But Max got you set up here with the Custom Works car, and this is kind of like your first, trophy race on the car. So what was it like working with Max out there and kind of getting this thing dialed in for the sprint car class?
Oh, he was a big help for sure. It was nice to have him kind of pit me a couple times and kind of watch the car. I'd give him a little feedback, but then he'd just tell me to bring it in, and he would make an adjustment for me and kind of see how the car was reacting and fix that problem just by watching it. So he's definitely, he knows the stuff in the oval scene, and he was a really big help this weekend with setting up my car and just helped me give some feedback and just some ideas to try.
In my first race out, I had the same car. We got one a while back to do for photos and video and stuff, but obviously you built that car for me. You got it set up. We made some tweaks along with when you guys, and I didn't have the best weekend out there. I had my wing fell off once in a qualifier, and then I had a pin come out during the main. So I didn't really finish many races, but the car was amazing to drive, and I was just disappointed I didn't get my 4 minutes of glory to put in the kind of run that I thought I could have done. But I was really happy with the way the Sprinters tires were working in the class. We kind of bounced back and forth between blue and green at first. The first run we all ran blues that we thought was going to be the hot ticket, and then we decided nope, this isn't the way to go. We went to the greens. A little more tire wear was appropriate. And what did you think of the Sprinters, in the compound selection?
I thought they were awesome. That tire has always been my favorite there since day one. I started with green Sprinters, and they were just awesome. That's when the bite was super high. But this past weekend, our Sprinter was a spec tire, so you could run any compound you wanted. But I thought the greens were definitely more favorable to the tire for the track conditions, because the track wasn't super hot. It was kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So they worked awesome. I don't think the pins folded over as well, but the tire wear was really good, because even my tires here have about maybe 35 minutes on them, and they still look pretty mint after all those running. Yeah,
and the way the track was getting, it was almost like they were just coming into their own. I mean, you were probably getting faster in the main as the race was going on, not the other way around, right?
Yeah, I felt like middle of the race is when my car actually turned itself on, and I started reeling those guys in. That's when I started putting in more consistent and then heater laps in, and I felt more comfortable, and I can drive my car a little harder.
And in this particular class, Grant was able to take the TQ, and he won the main. He kind of checked out in the main, got a good start, and was out. Max was in second for a while, had a little bit of an issue, and then he had to take a little bit of a back seat there. He had to take it off the track, and then that allowed you and some others to get up there in the contention and to battle for second, right?
Yeah, I was kind of middle of the race, and I heard some, the announcer calling that he was off the track, but I knew that I was kind of catching those guys. I still wound up being only 2 laps off of Grant. He was still fast, but I've been listening and just kept my momentum going and just kind of put a full run together and just stayed committed, because I almost wanted to give up in the beginning because I know my car is a little hard to drive, and then it got better and better and just stayed committed. And I was like, you know what, if I just keep it consistent, I know I can get up there. And I think it was with a minute to go is when Max came off, and I heard my name into third, and then I saw where second was, and I was able to pass him and then kind of stroll on by.
So we had, obviously we had an assortment of different classes out there. There's the late model, which, I always tell people when I'm racing, they're like, well, what class you running? I'm racing sprint, sprint. And I'll say, okay, that's like the 2-wheel mod of dirt oval. And then, late model might be like 4-wheel mod of dirt oval. Not that it's 4-wheel drive, but those are the two premier classes. And then the others, reminds me of like, stock truck, or, you have, that sort of style and mentality and classification of different classes. So the other class we talked about, late model, Grant won that one as well. Grant Riles was really kind of laying it down all weekend, TQ'd both, won both, but Max got second. And I don't know if did you watch the main, and what would you see kind of go on in late model, and how'd those cars work compared to the sprints?
Those cars, I've personally got to drive them before, but when I was watching the main. Those cars look very more settled, not slowish in the corner, not as reactant than the sprint cars. But Grant's car looked very smooth. It absorbed the bumps really well. He definitely had a shock package figured out, and obviously his suspension. His car looked really easy to drive, just super smooth, and he definitely had some heaters there. And I saw him pull away from Max a little bit. Max was kind of struggling a little bit at lap traffic, so it didn't help a little bit with frustration he had going on there.
Mm-hmm.
But Grant's car looked awesome. He definitely had a really good car.
So to explain the street stock, or as they were calling it, the bomber class, it's really a two-wheel buggy.
Yeah.
It's a two-wheel buggy. This is a B6. This isn't even we decided was this even a 0.1?
No, it's just a regular B6.
This is a regular B6. This isn't even a 0.1 or a 0.2. This is, like you said, you described it as your basher, your beater car. But, I mean, it is a nice B6, but it's essentially, there's no special bumpers on here. We use the JConcepts shock towers to put, our Camaro body on here. But driving this class, way less commitment to kind of get into this in terms of, the technical side of the setup. But from driving this and watching it, what do you think of the street stock class?
It looks... I actually want to kind of... I thought about racing it. It looked kind of cool just to have a good time and just turn some laps, like I said before. It just seems like it's really more relaxing. Everyone has a good time. There's no one serious on the stand. Just to kind of turn some laps and have fun out there. It looks kind of cool having the car-style bodies on them,
Mm-hmm.
more legit. To the real scene and stuff like that. Obviously, the sprint cars too. But everyone seems to have a good old fun time, and I think tire wear is a little less in these cars too.
Yeah, the thing that I notice about these is they kind of got that short course fun factor, but it's not a short course.
Yeah.
But that's the class it kind of reminds me of, is it kind of has that fun factor. And they had 3 strong heats of this class, so it shows you that it had some strength out there, and it had a lot of people really interested in running it.
Yeah, I think it's a good beginner class. Everyone can just get a 2-wheel buggy, or if they have a 2-wheel buggy, just throw some body mounts on it and kind of fit a body over it and just go run some laps. It's somewhat similar to like almost the street eliminator scene, something like that. But yeah, it's very easy to get into, like almost an entry level class, and just go have fun.
All right, so great job. Thanks for joining us. And where are you going to next? And what's your next race event? And what class are you running?
Next, it's actually this weekend, is RC DRL up in Ocala, Florida at Don Garlett's Museum. We'll be there Saturday, Sunday, racing street eliminator, and going to try to take the win this weekend.
All right, well, good luck. And again, great job out there, and sticking it out, and not giving up, and getting on the podium. Big accomplishment, and look forward to seeing you again on the oval track, and good luck at the Garlis track.
Thank you.